I'm going to call this to order with a pledge allegiance to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for showing up on this beautiful day in western Pennsylvania. Let's start with everyone give them your name and where you're from. Start with Jill.
Jill Dunlap, Westmead Township.
John Leffingwell, Pine Township.
Fritz Snyder, Vernon.
Rob Horvat, Vernon Township.
Bob Waddingham, North Shenango.
Terry Simonette, Eastmead Township.
Commissioner Eric Henry.
Kim Yekel, DEP.
Lyle Hoogler, Salisbury Township. Okay, public comment. Is there anyone want to say anything before we start? Hearing nothing. Administrative matters, let's get those out of the way. I need a motion to approve the minutes of January 20th, 2022.
So moved.
Fritz, need a second?
Second.
Mr. Waddingham. Any further discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And now, Robbie, on the treasurer's report?
Yeah, any questions? We're good? All right.
Okay. I need a motion to accept the treasurer's report as enclosed.
I'll entertain a motion.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Fritz? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Since Deb ain't here, we got to accept the 2021 audit report that was enclosed. Does anyone have any questions on that? Hearing none. I need a motion to do that. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Rob?
Yeah, we need a motion to approve the $200 payment to the PA COG for dues.
Someone want to make that motion?
Make that motion.
Terry? Second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion to approve me as delegate and Kevin Cole. Unless someone else would like to do that as alternate delegate for PA COG.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay.
Lyle, we
Kim-
have one more administrative
Yes.
matter.
Yes.
We need a motion to update our signature cards with Mercer County State Bank to include 2 signatures on all checks, and then myself, you, Jill, and what was it, Kevin Cole is the 4th signer. So we just need to have that in the meeting minutes,
Okay.
so that we can get the signature cards updated.
Okay. I need a motion to get the signature cards updated.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. I have a second.
Second.
Seconded by Fritz. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. So that's taken care of. We've been waiting to do that for a while, haven't we? Okay. Kim?
Good morning, everyone. So I'm Kim Yekel. I am the department's local government liaison. So I work with your state legislators, county commissioners, and local officials. And I reached out to Jill to have an opportunity just to, do some outreach. provide you with some information as I receive it. I'm gonna be at PSATs for any of you that will be in Hershey, starting next week, and with some of my counterparts. But I started with the department in 1987, worked in our Knox district office for a while, went to our Newcastle office, and came to Meadville in 2005. I live in Greenwood Township, but basically just wanted to provide you with some information as I can. I can pass my business card around so everybody knows how to reach me. I think Jill may have shared with you the private water supply testing. So as I receive information from individuals like Penn State Extension, we do a lot of work with them. They have a lot of really good webinars that might be useful to some of you. This private water well testing was something that they're going to be doing. Starting, I believe they already had the meeting, and then the sample bottles for the residents, I believe, will start next. Maybe they're even 2021-22. So this week, the residents who signed up for that can get their water tested for free. So the department doesn't regulate private water supplies, but we do have staff on hand that can, provide homeowners with resources to protect their water sources, to help talk to them about maybe some analysis that they've had done on their water well, just to provide them with some technical resources. We do have something going on right now with our energy program office. They have been working on the electric vehicle infrastructure pretty heavily. We do have still grants for that, for anybody that's interested in that in your townships. And also, I know solar's, a hot topic right now, the grid scale solar. We are going to have staff from our energy program office at PSATs specifically talking about that. And every month, the Penn State Extension holds what they're calling, they've been doing it now for a few months, but just general discussion type meetings. So they don't record these sessions. It's just an opportunity for county commissioners, local officials to hear, a topic. Maybe they're talking about solar siting, or they might be talking about leasing. They recently just had one where they were talking about how you can do agricultural related activities as well. So maybe somebody wants to do some like a pollinator habitat underneath the solar panels, or things like vegetative cover and things like that. So Penn State's they're working on a contract with the department right now just to get that out there. It's not pro solar or anything like that. It's just an opportunity for individuals to ask questions. There's a lot of counties and municipalities that are working on their ordinances right now, so that's they sometimes have staff on the call that can answer any questions with regard to that local officials may have. One of the other hot topics right now with the infrastructure money that's coming, at least we hope it's coming. We did get our initial $25 million for our oil and gas program. So they have been working on getting the abandoned wells that are out there onto our system so that we can prioritize them. And we have an initial 500 wells, most of them being in northwestern Pennsylvania. So our office staff are really busy right now. And they think they're going to group those 500 wells into projects of about 8 to 10 wells in a project, and we'll hopefully get those out for bids soon. But if you're hearing from your residents that they suspect they have an abandoned well that they've come across, I just had one in Barkeyville Borough last week where the gentleman had called me. They were doing some excavation to put a new home in and found this old well casing. And so we got our staff out there, and sure enough, it was an abandoned well that we did not know about. So that's now on our list to plug. And but I mean there's about I think 27,000 wells that we know of right now. But there could just be so many more. So if you're hearing from your residents, or you guys come across something you think is an abandoned well, give me a call, and we can certainly get our staff out to investigate that. Recycling, I mean, we have staff in our office for that. Another thing that some of you may have received, brine. So recently, our staff and our waste management program sent out some letters to some of the municipalities. I don't know if any of you had received that letter, but what it was for was every year the oil and gas operators have to report to us their wastewater disposal. So how did they dispose of that brine and such? And we usually have those reports in by February of every year. And so some of the oil and gas operators had indicated that they gave so many gallons of brine to this municipality or what have you. And so those letters went out. And the department just wanted to make the municipalities aware that, because of the lawsuit in 2018 that Siri Lawson filed, brine was no longer being able to be permitted to be placed on the roads for dust control. And there's this whole co-product determination that the oil and gas operators have a responsibility to go through if they want to provide you with that brine for dust suppression. So as of today, we don't have any oil and gas operators who have achieved what we call co-product determination. So if you're hearing from oil and gas operators, just want you to be aware so that you can be protected, that they should be supplying you with documentation showing proof that they have achieved what they call co-product determination. It's sampling that has to be done of that brine material to make sure that it's not going to cause adverse health effects and things like that. There are levels they have to meet.
I thought they talked about that on the shallower wells, not the deep wells for the Marcellus and stuff like that, but the regular shallow wells was legal to use that brine.
So the shallow wells are what we refer to as the conventional wells, and because of that, so in 2016, the unconventional wells were no longer able to supply their brine, but because of that lawsuit in 2018, that also impacted the conventional wells. So, and then I know that there was some issues with PennDOT and their, the fuel, my mind just went blank here, but
Liquid fuels.
yeah, the liquid fuel dollars that you all receive. I know they had sent out some notices maybe last year or the year before that you need to be using the PennDOT approved. I'm throwing a lot at you here, sorry, but the one thing that we're hoping to have soon is Penn State started a study last year. And we thought we were going to be receiving that like late December, early January, because they were testing that brine on some roadways and doing some sampling and things like that. We don't have that study yet. We are expecting it soon. But I'm hearing that the study basically may say that water is just as effective as brine and controlling dust on the roadways. Now, we'll see what happens when we get that study, but that's what the initial reports are coming in as, so water's free from the streams as long as you're not causing, adverse harm to that stream. But I know Seneca Minerals seems to have the monopoly on controlling dust on the roadways, because they're selling a product. Mm-hmm. So their brine is a product that the department does not regulate. So if you have any questions on brine, I know we're going to be getting into this season here soon, where the department as well is going to be receiving. Well, maybe we're going to receive those dust complaints at some point if it stops raining. But just feel free to reach out to me. I know it's a lot I'm throwing at you here, but I'm just trying to think of some of the hot topics that are going on right now that might impact municipalities. So yeah, if there's any questions you guys have, if you're hearing from your residents, as I receive more information that I think might be applicable, I'll certainly get that to Jill so she can get it out to the group via email if you guys have a distribution list. But just wanted you all to meet all of you and let you know that I'm a resource for you. And if you're at PSATs, I'll see you then.
I have one question for you. And this is going back to private wells, water wells.
Yes.
You say there's testing out there available.
Correct.
Okay. We've had this tested here. Every now and then, we get a terrible odor here. We've had it tested, and it always comes back A-okay. I think that we're missing something in the testing, that it's not being tested right here.
Okay.
I mean, as you let that set, apparently that is dissipating, you know, if it takes time.
When you are testing, are you having it tested for like bacteriological, like total coliform, just to see if there's any
I
bacteria in the
think so,
water?
yes.
Okay, because in this part of the state, a lot of our water wells, our private water wells, have high iron and manganese levels in them. And so it's not uncommon for people to get that odor as iron, oxidates and builds up, and the manganese. So you'll see like the rust staining, that's an indicator that there could be high iron. Black particles and odor is associated with the manganese as well. One thing, are you finding it in the cold water as well as the hot water? The
That
odor?
I can't answer that, but I know that we have checked the anode.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask,
yes,
because
and-
a lot of times when we're dealing with private citizens and they have an odor in their water, sometimes it is associated with the anode in their hot water heater, because their cold water, they're not smelling it as much as in the hot water. But did you just have it tested locally, like at Freecoal when they were
Free
able to?
coal, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you have those results that you could maybe share a copy, I can have our staff take a look at it to
Sure,
see,
sure.
just to provide you some, free technical advice as to what they may think. Have you had the well looked at to see if maybe there's any sort of issue with the well casing or anything like that?
I don't believe so, but
Okay.
they have, they've tried to shock it with chlorine
Okay, I
a
was gonna
couple
ask if
times.
you had done like disinfection and,
Yeah, everything seems to work okay that way, but
okay,
every now and then, it really gets bad.
sure.
Multiple neighbors.
Yeah. if-
Yeah, and other neighbors, so.
Okay.
It seems to be in this area, because
Okay.
there's other neighbors that have,
Is it like a sulfur type odor, or can you, like a musty? Or?
No, it's probably more like a sulfur type,
Okay,
I would think.
yeah, if you can share any results that you may have received, I
can do
can
that.
certainly have our Safe Drinking Water Program take a look at that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sure.
Anyone else?
Yeah, this water testing you were talking about, how do you get signed up for that?
I don't know if you can still sign up. When I had sent this information to Jill in March, they did say that you had to attend that April 19th meeting. And with you being on the water well, do you know if they were still maybe accepting people
You
for
had,
it?
excuse me, you had to attend the webinar, which was just yesterday or 2 days
Yes.
ago. And you then could qualify for the free testing. But there is testing available at the Crawford County Extension Office, right up kind of by the Westmead Building. You can actually go and get a big box and then put your test in, you follow the kit, and then you send it away to get it. So there's a little bit of a cost, but it's really not that outrageous. So to me, it's well worth it for people to do that. And I was gonna kind of piggyback and
Sure.
say, maybe you
Right.
wanna get a new sample tested in addition to providing her with the old samples. But the extension office is great if you go and see them up there.
Freecoal only checks what you ask them to. If you're to take a water sample in, they're only gonna give you 3 or 4 items.
Right.
They don't do a whole big test unless you tell them to. So you might not be getting a full
Right,
test.
that's possible, yeah.
Because you have to actually ask them for the full test.
Okay,
And they have different fees, of course. I just went through that. So they charge you to test water, and then they charge you to test everything in
Right.
that water. So you might not be getting a full test. The extension might be the way to go.
right,
Well, and you can check on what you want to be tested for also that way, so that, you're
Yeah.
not paying an exorbitant amount. But
I mean, if you're hearing from your residents that they just want to know whether their water is safe to drink, our department all of our offices actually sell them their homeowner water test kits. And they test for bacteria only, but that will at least tell them whether or not it's safe to drink. And the cost is only $10. So they would pick that kit up at one of our offices. They can also pick it up at the extension office as well. And then that water is analyzed through our Bureau of Laboratories in Harrisburg, and the owner is sent a copy of the results, usually within 14 days. And what they will also do is if that water sample tests positive for what we call total coliform, which just indicates that there's bacteria in the water, they will also run that water for E. coli as well. So that could be an indicator that human feces or animal feces is getting into the water.
Okay. All right. Jill?
Well, to kind of piggyback off of some of what she said, I started out basically interested in our own, I have a personal private water well, so that's kind of what got me started. And I did some research online, and next thing you know, Penn State was sending me information about being a master well owner network representative. So by listening to things online, so anybody can do it if you're interested, even anybody in the public can do it. But you kind of go through, I printed out the whole book and I just kind of keep it there. Because sometimes I get a lot of people asking about different questions, just like you are about the water well. So, there's a training you can go through, 6 hours of online training, and it's free. You can become, if you qualify under there, and then you have to kind of talk about it to people or provide information, which we do. And then I was going to pass out, take one and pass them around. These are quarterly newsletters that go out. There's a lot of good information, and I always kind of share it even on the website or by email. So basically, that may provide you with some additional information that she was talking about. I know, like I said, the extension office really was a good resource, and a lot of people have septic and water well issues, concerns, or things from the neighbors. So that's just the newest newsletter. And the Penn State Extension, what you had provided us, that's kind of available. Anybody can go on their website and get signed up, and then you'll get all the emails and information. But when you learn about, under the Master Well Owners Network, you learn about all of the different whether it be biologics or, the coliforms, all the different things that can be in your water. So a lot of people, you may even want to bail your well. I mean, there's some different options that could maybe help you before you just drill a new well.
Right, because there could be some iron bacteria building up in the casing, and maybe that's, causing some of that odor.
Or you may have sediment in the bottom. I know we have a park that we're working on our well right now, or having it looked at. Ronnie Coleman from out this direction originally, came free call. We've just done some different things to see what it is you can do to help your situation out.
Okay. And you're up again, Jill.
Oh, just because you're here, we'll let Robbie do it with
What?
the joint bids.
Oh, joint bids?
Yeah.
Well, so the packet's out there. We had the pre-bid meeting last Thursday. Bids are due, not next Monday, the following Monday, and we're opening them up and hopefully have some low prices, but probably not.
It's gonna be scary, I'm afraid.
Yeah, the prices don't sound great, so hopefully everybody has a deep checkbook.
We're saying like $100 a ton.
Banks have loans.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, and tar and chip, I mean, unless you're doing big quantities, it's $2 a square yard. And even big quantities only get you.
Maybe we'll be going back to dirt roads. Wow. All right. COG Tire Event, September 24th, 2022.
Terry and I are on the committee, how's that sound? I'll start and you can jump in, how's that sound? He's new to it, so that's why, I'm not gonna throw him under the bus
Thank you.
right off the bat, how's that sound? We'll give you a minute to, yeah, I don't see anybody else here from the committee, but we've got some of the same committee people back, and even some people are volunteering to, because we use the fairgrounds, September 24th, and anybody can have one of these if you want. We're pretty much doing it the same as we did every other year, but we kind of skipped because of COVID, so this will be a third year instead of every other year. So September 24th, 8 a.m. until noon, or until the tires are reached. Right now, the tire committee, we've got grant funding through the DEP. We just got approval yesterday.
Awesome.
So we found out that that kind of offsets the 50%, so we can just charge the $2 per tire for people that bring the tires, so they don't have to pay the full amount. So the DEP grant really helps. Then Brenda Schmidt from the Crawford County Solid Waste Authority, we also were talking about doing things in addition to tires, maybe recycling some other things like plastics, glass. You know, there's some other options out there right now that for people that down at Hydro Blocks, they collect some things in Meadville. There's the composting people that are out near Accutech. So she was looking into other options. So we have to meet again to see about that, but at least we wanted to get the information out. A lot of people like it for their cleanup days, so you can say, hey, you can bring your tires, because a lot of cleanup days don't take tires. So that's an option in the fall. Now you're up.
The only thing I have to add is that I contacted Barry Anderson, who's the wrestling coach, and he was very interested in having his team help with it.
Good.
He was in the process of checking times and making sure that they were available, and because of the date. And I have not got back to him since, but he was real excited about helping. He thought it would be a good practice for the guys to throw tires around. So
There you go.
so we could have some young help
Good.
to do that.
And it's needed.
Yes.
It really is.
I could
Especially when
imagine.
you fill a semi up with tires, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, I haven't been there, but I know Dick has talked about it, and yeah, so hopefully we can get them, and maybe, you know, we can approach somebody else to make it easier on them guys too, so.
I
But
think
that's it.
before we had some of the younger adults from probation, yes, they helped.
We had football players, John Amato had brought
Yeah.
some football players, and Allegheny College,
That would be-
community service students. So we've
We-
kind of had the gamut of a lot of different people. It's nice that it's not a long event, so to come and do it for a few hours.
I
'cause
think it'd be
does-
nice to
it's-
approach one of
They're
them.
heavy. I've done it myself, so.
Just to relieve,
I like that.
because it is a lot of work.
Right.
So, I mean, these kids for doing it for 4 hours, it could be tough. So if we could get some more kids
Right.
to volunteer, then that would be awesome,
Yeah,
so.
and Terry's
Well,
the
we
guy
got-
to call.
Yeah, and
So,
we got time to,
anybody?
to do that, yeah.
Yeah, we have time to line up some,
Right,
you know.
good. Okay,
I think I'm good.
other business. Come on, someone has something.
I'll throw one at you.
Okay.
Under the recycling, electronics. We're running, and we were using ECS&R. They're out of business now. We do it every year. TVs, because we get
Better
an
than
influx of
along the road.
TVs that show up in our ditches that
Yeah.
come from Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Get dropped off. So we started $25 a TV, because we're paying by the pound to have them reclaim them. just to cover the costs, and now they're out, so we're looking for where to get rid of electronics.
Well, Lincoln, like recycling takes.
We've
We'll
been-
turn to her over here.
Yeah, I mean, it surprised DEP as well. We didn't know that ECSNR had decided to close, and, you know, we do work with them as well. When we have our spills along the interstate and our emergency response team members are out there, I mean, ECSNR, you know, we work with them. And I know that our staff and our waste management program have been like just trying to do some outreach to find out who else is out there. And I can certainly, you know, swing back around with them when I get back to the office and see if they've come up with anything. I know when I talked with them a couple weeks ago, there was still nothing here locally. You know, McKean County was asking us, and there's a place in New York State that, you know, McKean County is going to use. I know Venango County was upset because they had just created that brand new recycling center at near the airport, and ECSNR was their partner, you know, for that contract to take the e-waste materials. So they're struggling as well, you know, trying to figure out who are we going to get to take this electronic waste, which is a huge issue. I mean, just kind of piggybacking on that, if you guys are experiencing, you know, areas in your municipalities where people are just dumping, you know, that electronic waste. I don't know if any of you have worked with Keep PA Beautiful. It's a nonprofit organization, and they have surveillance cameras that they will loan out to municipalities. I don't think there's a charge for it, just to try to catch the individuals that are doing this dumping, you know, along your more remote areas of your municipalities. So I can, if you're having that problem, you know, give me a call, and I can get you in touch with individuals, you know, that work with the Keep PA Beautiful.
Okay.
Okay,
And I'll let you know if I hear anything about what we're gonna do about the ECSNR, you know.
All right.
I have one other thing
Yes.
to kind of tie into that. One of our residents, and I was gonna ask Brenda Schmidt, because I didn't know who, I've never heard of this before, but he said there is a drop box for Better World books. A lot of people couldn't get rid of books, like through the old recycling program through the county, and I guess this drop box for Better World books, they want like some kind of paved or some kind of surface, and then you would host it, and then the books would be collected and taken away and recycled, sold, somehow not ended up in a landfill. So I had never heard of that, maybe you have.
I haven't heard about
Okay.
it. That's a great idea, though. I know a lot of people use like their libraries, you know, like sometimes the public libraries will take people's books if they're like having an estate sale or something and they have it, but I had not heard about that.
To me, it kind of almost sounds, I didn't Google it even, or just even do a quick search, but it's probably a lot like those pink boxes or the clothing boxes, I would think, that somebody's gotta maintain or pick up and take other places, but that's the first I'd heard of that.
Yeah, it's good. I'll look into that and see if anybody else has heard anything at our office.
all right, does anyone else have anything else to entertain?
Just a quick thing, oh, go ahead.
We have these cleanup days, people do bring TVs in, so you're not supposed to put them in the dumpster at all?
No. You're not supposed to, but what you do in your township, I don't know, and I'm not gonna say anything.
Sometimes people bring stuff, and you're not even there, and they throw stuff in. So you can't control that unless you go to garbage.
See, what we do is, and, you know, you could go around road closed signs, but we've been pretty good on that. No one's bothered it too much, but we got a police station right there, so that sort of helps. Yeah, I don't know.
We had to gate our place, because after hours, you know, we end ours like at 1 o'clock. And from 1 o'clock till dark, we get a whole big pile of stuff. And it's usually tires and TVs, you know, that they know they can't dump when we're there. So we actually gated our place so they can't get back in there anymore. And that stopped it, at least last year it stopped it, so.
We scrap all of our steel culvert pipe and everything like that and everything from cleanup day. We got hit with microwave ovens and ballasts out of fluorescent lights. Came back as radioactive and brought the whole load back. We had to pay 2 dumpsters they found it in. Had to bring them back, dump them on the ground, go through it all, and separate it. Have them come out and test it there before I load it up again.
Wow.
That was the hauler that determined that?
Yeah, because
so-
they're saying under regulations, they're fined up to, what, $50,000 if they get caught accepting radioactive material.
I just wanted to mention that the county is putting a large amount of our ARPA money towards broadband, $3 million. And in response to some other needs, we're trying to hit this twofold. One, our public safety tower system is going to need some upgrade. There's a system called P25, which it basically, the Federal Communications System has said we have to split our radio waves again. Robbie knows from his fire department days. Now they're saying that we have to go to a different system. In Erie, they did this already. In Mercer County, they have. So there's not enough frequencies. So they're going to split it again. It's like splitting a hair. And so P25 will require every fire department and ambulance service to have all new radios to work on P25. The total cost of that is between $10 and $12 million. And it's not a matter of, it's not a choice. They're just going to tell us you have 5 years to do this. These P25 radios, for example, a portable radio, it might be $1,000 or $1,500. A mobile radio might be $4,000 or $5,000. That'll also affect your police departments as well.
Right.
They'll have to be on the same system. So what we're trying to do is to offset some of that cost and to help with broadband, we're undertaking a massive tower project where we find spots to improve cellular communications and help with P25. For instance, on Radio Tower Hill, we pay Crown Tower $1,600 a month to provide service for us. Well, this P25 is going to require us to have 12 to 14 towers. We can't afford to obviously do that, so we're going to be aggressive and own those towers. So what we're trying to do is make an agreement with AT&T and T-Mobile and Verizon and tell them, listen, we'll own the towers. In the first 5 years, you could be on our towers, but we want you to improve cellular throughout Crawford County. And so, of course, there are some areas that are better than others, everyone knows, and there are some areas that are really bad, that have no cell coverage still, which is interesting. But it's going to be something to look forward to. In the end, it'll give us our own county-owned towers, but a help with cellular and with internet. And we are still working with Armstrong and Windstream, and the idea of the ARPA money is it's a last mile projects, right? So if broadband, if fiber optic is running down a road and you have residents in your area that said, well, I can't get it because they won't go down my road, that's what that money, that $3 million is going to be for. It's $15,000 to run 1 mile of fiber. And that's where those providers will not go down the road. But what we're going to do is say, okay, identify some roads and let's use this $3 million to say to Windstream and say to Armstrong, let's go down the road. We're gonna pay for that last mile project. You're gonna be able to bill these people forever. And as all of you know, the way COVID hit with schools, we have a lot of people wanting to move back to Crawford County who want to work remotely. And they've asked us, well, I want the highest speed internet. We're always leery of saying, well, go here, because we're not exactly sure where that's at yet. So what I'm asking you to do, and we'll run it through your guys' group too, is we're starting a campaign for a broadband survey. Every school district in Crawford County has permitted us to, we're going to create a postcard, we're going to send it to their families, and then we're also going to hit areas that we know are underserved. There are a lot of townships that have some underserved areas, so we're encouraging everyone, get on board. It'll be a scannable QR code or a website you can go to. It's basically 5 questions. Do you have internet? Do you like your internet? How much are you willing to pay for your internet? And how many devices and how many people and what are you using on the internet? Is it 5 devices, 6 devices, 7 devices? And what we're finding are a lot of places still using HughesNet or satellite. That's the only option they have. Or still having a dial-up type of speed. We're working with Mobilecom too because they've helped in Forest County in some of these projects as well. We realize not everybody's going to be able to have fiber. We would love to have everybody have fiber. There are some places that are getting 100 up and 100 down for speed, which is nothing short of amazing in Crawford County if you have that. But we also have people who are getting 10 and 15. And so we're really trying to work. So when we get these postcards out, we're going to push it out to the townships, push it out to the COGs, push it out to the school district. We want as many responses as we can. At the end of the day, our GIS manager, Phil Brandi, he's created this website that when those questions come in, you'll see little dots on a county map. And it'll be like, well, there's a bunch of little dots in West Shenango Township. I use them for example because they're very underserved. There might be areas, and this is the part which is interesting, where people think, Meadville, West Mead, Vernon, there's no weak spots of internet, but there are. There are places that we don't want to forget about because people just tend to believe that that centralized area doesn't have those weak spots. So we're trying to identify all those weak spots, position those towers appropriately, because in some cases, cellular internet or a hotspot might be the only option that these folks have. And that's better than nothing. The HughesNet people, of course, if you have bad weather, your internet goes away. There's also Starlink, which is done by Elon Musk and Tesla guy. He has Starlink, which is a satellite that you buy. It's $4.99 and $110 a month, and it pops up, and people are using it in Crawford County. Part of that $3 million will be granted for people who have no other alternative but satellite. Well, we would buy the hardware for them, and then for 2 years, they have to have an agreement for 2 years to get internet. But we're hoping to stretch as much as we can to get it out there, because we've heard stories of people who can't open attachments on their emails. And that's just not a world we should live in. I mean, you still can't drive to Titusville on a cell phone and not lose coverage 4 or 5 times. I mean, that's a normal thing. So at the end of the day, we'll help offset the cost of P25, which no matter what is going to be $12 million, by owning our own towers and removing those leases from that. If you don't know, most of the towers, I think Pine, as you guys spoke, that new tower you guys have going up, most of the cellular companies who have towers, they give them off to American Towers or Crown Towers. Then American Tower and Crown Towers, they become the landlord of the tower. So if another person wants to get on even public safety, they'll charge us. Like recently we wanted to adjust a problem in North Shenango, and we wanted to move it from the fire department tower to the nice tower on 285 there. They said, we'll do it for you. It's $700 a month. Just for one channel, one tower, forever. So we said, so what we've done is we've identified the North Shenango Fire Department, they don't even know this yet, as a potential tower site where we can put the tower up, we'll own the tower, and we can tell the guy, no thanks, we don't need to rent your tower anymore, but by the way, we can improve your cellular. And those cellular companies are now thinking, well, wait a minute, we'll come on board with you, and we don't have to do this either. So it's really a win-win. Towers are between $350,000 and $500,000. So you can see how much we have for leeway, but we're doing a competitive CDBG grant, and anywhere there's low income, we're going to win that grant, because the number one thing they want to do is hit those areas. Well, you'd be surprised at what areas are covered. Even in Vernon Township, in the Kerr Town area, those areas like that, we can probably get some funding for that, and so we're going to look for that. We might ask for some support letters, because we all want to improve as much as we can, but that is a huge project. We really want to help, get people out of the dial-up days or no internet days, and at least improve the ability to have options. So just want to let everybody know it's coming
We
up.
got a letter a week or 2 ago about, what was that company's name, you remember?
I do not recall the name of the company, but it is a cable company. I don't think it was Comcast. It was one of
Something like that.
those
Yeah, I don't know.
ones that's more south,
Oh, okay.
that said that they were gonna be coming into our area and wanted us to sign a franchise agreement.
I don't know, but let us know what you hear.
I didn't know they were even out of Mercer County, because it was one of those ones that are more towards Mercer.
Maybe Comcast didn't.
It might have been Comcast, I'm not sure, I have to look. I did ask, I talked to Zach Norwood at the county planning, and to talk to him, and he said they'd be probably in the very southern part of our town.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's where they're coming then, yeah.
So I have to call the gentleman to kind of set up a meeting to kind of
And we
find out
had,
what that is going about.
we had a meeting out here on Lake Road in Greenwood with Windstream, and they were running fiber line like right down Lake Road, which is great. But it's not going to be everybody, and of course, Windstream covers about 2/3 of Crawford, about 66,000 people. They don't cover east of Athens, down Titusville, Centerville, Bloomfield. So we work with Armstrong as well in other areas. But we just realize that not everybody's going to have fiber. We wish they would, but we want to make sure there's some option besides the HughesNet, which can be expensive, and it's not. If it rains, well, if you have a satellite dish, right, it rains, it doesn't work well. So we just ask that you guys support that. If we get information to your township, put it on your letters. All we want people to do is fill as many people as we can, Go to the QR code, fill out that actual card, and we'll have that map. We'll share it with all of you. So you can all have that map and access and go, yeah, part of Vernon Township doesn't have good internet, which you might already know where that's at. That's good, but we'll be working on that next couple months, so,
Very good.
yeah.
I have a question as far as the P25,
Sure.
so that is within 5 years?
Well,
I had heard about this.
So what they
before
told us
with
was,
police
is
cars.
they'll give us 5 years' notice. They'll say to you, Crawford County, you got 5 years. And that affects, police cars too.
that's-
And you'll be putting $5,000 and $8,000 mobiles into your police cars and, the fire departments. And what Erie did was, they got a bond, and they did it by making sure the fire departments had some money, because some of these fire departments, we can't tell them, oh, you're gonna need to put new mobiles and portables, and they just don't have the money for that.
We went
And-
through this a few years ago with the UHF and the VHF.
Exactly. And
We already
and
spent that money.
Here's the bad thing
I mean, we had
is
to.
we have upgraded every repeater, every tower, we have the most up-to-date things. But when this comes out, even our consoles in our 911 center are outdated then, and they just go away. So every console needs to have P25 consoles. Those consoles are hundreds of thousands of dollars. Those repeaters on every tower set we have are hundreds of thousands of dollars. None of that all is obsolete. And I hate to say this, because I'll just go on record to say it now. It doesn't improve the radio communications. That's not the intention of it. It's just the fact that the radios are crowded. So in Erie, when they put all that money in, if you go talk to the fire departments in Erie, and I'm sure Robbie, you've heard some of this, there's a lot of clatter. Well, this is worse. It's not. It doesn't improve the system. It wasn't intended to do that. It's only making us do it because the frequencies are there's too many frequencies shared on a bandwidth, and so they're going to narrow it down. Now the nice thing is, a radio in Titusville can dial in and talk directly to a radio in Vernon Central. On a portable, you can talk just to the two of you in a closed circuit. Whether that makes a big difference for us, we don't know. But that's a nice thing, I guess, if you have the benefit. But it doesn't mean that it'll improve the actual overall communications. We are going to put a lot of ARPA money towards it, but then we realize that 5 years might be 5 more years. So they won't come out and say it. And you'll see, Mercer County has already done this. Venango County is working on it. Erie County did complete it. And so we're going to try and kill two birds with one stone here. Cellular, improvement with a Wi-Fi home hotspot, and then try and offset this cost of towers that we're going to have anyway. So hopefully it works in our favor. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, very good. Anything else come before us? Hearing nothing, our next meeting is July 21st. Where are we gonna have it? At the chamber?
I put that because it's nice if we kind of move back
Move around,
towards
yeah.
the
That's
pre-COVID, but it's up to, if somebody wants to hold it, they certainly can.
Let's
Offer
put it
and
as a
we'll-
chamber at this time, but if someone decides they would like to have it at their area, we can change. Right? All right. I need a motion to adjourn then. Okay, we're here for another hour.
Does that work at your own meeting, Ralph?
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.